I'd quickly like to thank all of you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough, but enough of that, let's get to the video. Before that though, make sure that you check out part 2 after watching this video. The link to that and Super Savage's channel will be in the description and pinned comment section below. So in this timeline, Bardock is the legendary Super Saiyan. However, early on, nothing really changes. For those wondering about Broly, in this story he will end up being like a regular Saiyan, meaning that he would never be exiled. As a result, Broly, Paragus, and Beats end up continuing business as usual, living on planet Vegeta, going on missions as they normally would. Anyways, some people note that Bardock's strength is high for a low-class Saiyan, but he's never placed into any position where this would be out of the ordinary. Bardock just lived a normal life, still meeting Guinea and having both Raditz and Kakarot just like normal. So some of you are probably thinking when or where this timeline is gonna start having some divergence from canon. Well, thankfully, there's a place where that can happen pretty easily. In the fight with Gas, we see Bardock adapting to his opponent and ultimately overpowering him, so we can actually use that fight and have it be the first big change in this timeline. Against Gas, Bardock would be adapting much quicker to the point where Gas has to actually try much harder, though he still keeps Bardock on the defensive for the start of the fight. When Minato leaps in the way, Bardock's potential finally begins to surge. All his latent rage that he's kept held down begins flowing out. For miles on end, Bardock's primal roar of anger can be heard as his hair stands on end, his eyes turning yellow. This is of course the wrathful or Akari state, whatever you want to call it, but Bardock then rushes Gas, with him now being the one to push his opponent back. Gas would be quite nervous as he tries to fight back, unleashing his inner potential, but Bardock grows too quickly for this to be of note. He breaks both of Gas's hands and unleashes a massive mouth blast that completely vaporizes Gas. Alec is shocked, staring down at the feral beast as he questions how the Saiyan could defeat Gas. When Bardock's eyes meet his, the feeling of death flows through Alec as he's unable to move, paralyzed with fear, and before he can react, Bardock lunges at him, shoving his fist through his chest, killing him almost instantly. Oil and Maki then both begin to retreat, seeing their brothers killed, but in Bardock's blind rage, he destroys them along with their ship. For the next few hours, Bardock runs rampant on the planet, attacking any animals or buildings that he comes across. It takes a while, but eventually, he clocks out after running out of energy. Minato eventually finds him and heals him up, repairing his armor in the process. Bardock questions what happened, and Minato tells him, but the Saiyan is in complete disbelief. Regardless though, he has no time to worry about it. He has to make it back to planet Vegeta, as he's got a feeling that Frieza is plotting something. But as he goes to leave, Granola leaps out from a nearby bush and attempts to kill Bardock. The Saiyan avoids his attack and then pins him to the wall, telling Granola that the heaters are dead and that they killed his mother, not him. If he wants to hold some vendetta against him, then do it, but at least have a good reason for it. And with that, Bardock leaves, entering his space pod. While he doesn't know it, these words will be very important for Granola as he grows up. Bardock would then return to planet Vegeta, where he still sends Kakarot away upon suspicion of Frieza wanting to destroy the planet. When Bardock does his final stand against Frieza, this is going to go much differently. His immense potential would begin to rise as he takes on the grunts, and this time Bardock actually notices it. He questions if Minato's words hold merit, but knows he doesn't have time for that. Out of curiosity, Frieza asks Zarbon what that Saiyan's power level is, and when checking the scouter, Zarbon's shocked. 40,000 and it's still rising rapidly. This actually gets Frieza afraid, prompting him to want to end this now. He raises up a finger, creating the supernova to wipe out the Saiyans as well as the planet below. He launches it at Bardock, who begins to charge up a blast of his own. He says that this will change everything, unleashing his final revenger at the ball of heat coming towards him rapidly. His blast does nothing to halt the attack as it swiftly surrounds him, beginning to carry him towards the planet. As his armor breaks away, Bardock lets out a scream of rage and anger. He won't let it end like this. He can't. Frieza laughs manically but quickly stops when he sees his attack explode in orbit. From the flames, Bardock explodes from them, surrounded by a powerful green aura, now in his wrathful form. Despite having no control, his feral side knows just who to attack first, so he flies at Frieza, roaring at him. Dodoria and Zarbon leap in the way, but Bardock doesn't stop, simply flying through them both without losing momentum as he and Frieza clash. Frieza and Bardock begin fighting all over the horizon of planet Vegeta. While they're at first relative in strength, Bardock continues to adapt to overpower the tyrant. With no other choice, Frieza ascends to his second form to take control of the fight once more. Neither of them can make leeway in this fight, exchanging blows and firing massive blasts at one another. Below the horizon of planet Vegeta, the Saiyans are all looking up in awe. Firstly, they saw the massive supernova from Frieza coming towards their planet, then it got destroyed, and now they continue to see what looks like a fight occurring. What the heck's going on? As the Saiyans panic, Guinea shouts that this must be Bardock. She knows that he was right. Frieza must have betrayed the Saiyans. Upon hearing this, the hordes of Saiyans surrounding her are shocked. Clearly, however, the evidence supports her hypothesis. It's clear though that he can't do this alone and that they need to help him. Guinea is the first person to act, flying to go help him. Shortly behind her is Bardock's crew, and then the others. One by one, the Saiyans all begin rising up to fight back for their planet. that. King Vegeta is hesitant, but he knows that if the king doesn't lead his men into battle, they'll view him as weak. So he tells the rest of the Saiyans to follow him to fight. Everybody agrees, and so the Saiyan race all fly up to fight off the tyrant that has oppressed their entire race. Bardock's back and forth with Frieza ends up leading to the tyrant to transform into his final form. Finally, his strength is now enough to keep the Saiyan at bay. Frieza then smirks as he fires a death beam through the Saiyan's hip, causing Bardock to slump over in space holding his wound. The tyrant continues, firing one through his knee and another in the shoulder. The Saiyan is now unable to continue his berserk beatdown, falling out of wrathful as he stares at Frieza. The tyrant laughs, telling the Saiyan that it was a valiant effort. Unfortunately for him now though, he's going to meet his end. That's when a ki blast hits the side of Frieza's head. Bardock's crew arrives, along with Guinea to save him, all of them in the Rosaru form. This surprises Bardock as he looks down to see all the other Saiyans following suit, using powerballs to allow them to make an impact against Frieza. Bardock grins slightly as Guinea tells him he did this. He can rest now. Bardock's crew begin to fight back against Frieza, who isn't really struggling at all. Obviously, the amount of numbers is hard for him to keep up with, but their power doesn't really do much to scare him, so he decides to begin clearing out the numbers. He fires a massive blast directly towards Guinea and the great apes around her, wanting to get rid of them all. Before it hits her though, Leek knocks her out of the way, taking the attack dead on. He begins shrinking down into base as Bardock watches him in horror. His partner. As Frieza prepares another attack, he becomes distracted by a bright golden light. Looking over, he sees Bardock covered in a golden aura as he lets out staggered breaths of anger, his pupils exploding as he bursts into the Super Saiyan form. Frieza now feels terror, recognizing that his greatest fear has come true. Frieza then tries to blast him before he can do anything, but his attack does nothing but anger Bardock. Consumed by his rage, Bardock screams as he flies at Frieza, clutching him by the throat as he continues flying. He hits him hard over and over, flying after him in the vacuum of space as he continues to beat him around. Frieza tries to flee and fight back in any way, but at this point, his fate is sealed. Bardock knocks Frieza through neighboring planets and moons until Frieza is left in a battered, beaten state. Even after this though, Bardock doesn't let up as he continues to tear Frieza apart. All that the legendary Super Saiyan hears are the screams of pain and agony from Frieza, but these just fuel him even further. He looks up at Bardock as the golden monster comes lunging towards him to finish him off. The only way he can stick it to the Super Saiyan now is to ensure that they both reach their demise. Frieza begins to glow as he tells Bardock that they can dance together in hell, self-destructing onto Bardock. The Saiyans all look on in awe as they see a giant explosion of light, believing that Bardock may have met his demise. Not wanting to believe it, Guinea flies over, surrounding herself in ki so that she can breathe. Then she sees Bardock's unconscious body floating through space. He's alive but badly damaged and with no oxygen. A few weeks later, Bardock awakens in a healing pod, unaware of what had happened. There he sees Guinea, Raditz, and Kakarot all awaiting him to gain consciousness, where they all begin freaking out happily. Bardock is confused, evident by the look in his eye, so Guinea begins filling him in. She explains what happened with Frieza and how he's dead. Afterward, she went to go pick up Kakarot on Earth, believing that he's now safe to return. Also, because Kakarot wasn't on Earth very long, he did not hit his head. Raditz tells his father that he knew one of them had to be a Super Saiyan. Maybe him and Kakarot can also go Super Saiyan. That'll have a nice ring to it. Super Saiyan Prince Raditz. Confusion hits Bardock's face again upon hearing this, as Guinea tells Raditz to not get ahead of himself. Since Bardock saved the Saiyans and became a Super Saiyan, there's been a big push from a lot of the public for Bardock to be the king. When Bardock finally recovers, he steps back out into the public, hearing the cheers of people noticing his recovery. They even begin chanting King Bardock, but Bardock tells them to be quiet. They're giving him a headache. He's not interested in being king. Sitting on that throne all day and just not being in the field would drive him insane. Besides, now that Frieza's dead, he's only going to get to do that more. No one for the Saiyans to answer to now. They can fight whoever they want and destroy whatever they like. The reign of the Saiyans is only just beginning, and he'd much rather be a part of that. The Saiyans erupt in cheers at this answer, believing it to be an inspirational speech. From the king's castle, King Vegeta stares down at his subjects, cheering with resentment. None of them see him as king now, even if Bardock doesn't want his position. Plus, the Super Saiyan appeared, and it wasn't even him or his son. Bardock is gonna pay for what he's done. If you guys enjoyed the first part of what if Bardock was the legendary Super Saiyan, then make sure you check out part 2, which should be out right now on Supersavage789's channel. The link will be pinned in the comment section and in the description below. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!